We'll just start and try again. Hopefully, maybe you'll join us in the middle. Okay. Masechet Shabbos. Masechet B'nei Hotzah. Masechet Shabbos begins with the laws of Hotzah, and Rishonim do with Tam Davar, and Rishonim analyze why this is Umaral Piresh Mishnu Lechus Hotzah Nenohet. That's B'Yontif, and I'll explain that since it doesn't apply in Yontif. The Tana begins with a malacha which is unique for Shabbos. The logic of the Maharal is the most essential revelation of the content of the unique quality of each yontif, is specifically where it appears. Now, in other words, he's talking about the Masechta and why Hotzah is beginning the Masechta Shabbos. But in general, what Rav Hutner is trying to think of this is that even historically, wherever a yontif appears historically, that is the place of that yontif, so to speak. Okay, and this is what he's going to say. What is one of the unique places in which Chanukah finds itself? It is at the end of all the Yom Tovim, chronologically. The last one to be established at the time of by the time of Chazal was Chanukah. Everything else is prior to Chanukah. The inner understanding of this fact, is that when Chanukah was fixed in time, at that point were completed all the roots, show Seder Hazmanim of all times, L'doros, for all generations, until the very end of days. In other words, until Chanukah was there, the cycle of the calendar was not complete. We didn't have all the illuminations, which we're supposed to have as part and parcel to the Jewish calendar. Then Chanukah came there, and Chanukah completed that cycle. And then he links this interesting thing in Maoz Sur. Oz egmor b'shir mizmor Chanukas hamizbeach. Right one. Then we will complete with a song of thanks or a song of praise Chanukas hamizbeach. So the Pachad Yitzchok picks up on the fact that it says Oz egmor b'shir mizmor. It's not just that I'm going to then literally complete this happiness of the Beis Hamikdash being rebuilt by singing, but rather that Chanukah is the last miracle which is embedded. It's the Gemar of the miracles which are embedded in the Jewish calendar. And that's linked to Chanukah Samizbeach Shel Oz, the Gemar Shel Chanukah's Beis Chashmonai. The Chanukah Samizbeach of the end of time. The word Oz is a very powerful word. It has lots and lots of significance. Oz means the past. Oz means the future. Oz is 1/7, which is God, so to speak. Or it could be other things too, but for our purposes, God and the 7 days of creation, the totality of creation. And of course, together they make 8. So the word Oz is very much connected with Chanukah. But the Pachad Yitzchok is saying a way specifically which is connected with Chanukah is that this day, Chanukah is connected as Egmor because since it's the last of the Yom Tovim to be embedded in the Jewish calendar, it's connected with the eventual future most directly. In other words, historically, so to speak, it's closest, although it's several thousand years from whenever Mashiach is going to come. And Oz Te'agmar Chanukah is basically it's an ongoing process from Chanukah until the end of time. Klomar, meaning Ad Kviyus Moed Chanukah until Chanukah was set up. There was missing one more pillar. Asher Olav Yamod HaGesher, upon which will stand the bridge, Hamovil Achris Yamim, which leads us to the end of days. In Kviyus Moed Chanukah, when Chanukah was set, the Chonah Masila, the pathway is properly erected, leads Odoleh to march over it, Ad Agmash Chanukah Asida, until the eventual completion of Chanukah, meaning the eventual redemption and the building of the Beis Hamikdash. Asher Tigomer b'shir mizmor, Oz Egmor b'shir mizmor. Chanukah Samizbeach has 2 meanings. I finish with Chanukah the preparation for the final Chanukah Samizbeach. Now, of course, this explains what do we do with this? We have to have some sort of a hasbara. Actually, it has to have an explanation. So the way we'll explain is as follows: Seder Shibudim, the order of the oppression and the governance of foreign powers over us. Shishtabu Yisol Arba Malchios was for 4 kingdoms in history: Egypt, Bavel, Persia, and Greece. Egypt, Bavel, Greece, and Rome. Okay, so the Fidibri Chachame. So I'm starting to get from the beginning base. This order of the subjugations, Yonah Mevuar, it is explained there. We've also shown Daniel's mystical prophecy about how everything is going to work out in history, which is a very, very difficult prophecy, which nobody fully understands. The Fidibri Chachamim, according to Chazal, Shosham Nautz Maaseh Breshis. These Golios are built into creation. Golos is intrinsic in creation. How so? To vavoshu vo choshech v'tahom. The Chazal link the 4 exiles to to, vo, choshech, and tahom, which are the descriptions of the world before Hashem started to build this current cycle of existence. Now, the Torah doesn't tell us how we got to the place of to, vo, choshech, and tahom. Confusion, desolation, having a translate vo, darkness and profound deeps. So these things are there at the beginning of the Torah. They're not described how they got there. The Torah just says, from here, this is the way it goes. So, hakod min l'ruach Elokim b'pasuk hasheni shemais abreshis. In the second pasuk, we have a ruach Elokim which comes in and starts making all sorts of wonderful things. But the first pasuk abreshis, there are these 4 basic states which are preceding the beginning of creation. So they Heimar ba Malchios, so they correspond to the 4 kingdoms Asher Malchuso Kodemes Mashiach, who come upon us before Mashiach can reign upon us. Toze Bavel, Boze. I'm sorry, I included Egypt before. I was wrong. Sorry. Toze Bavel. To is Bavel. That's the Boze Modai. Chosh, the Bavel and the Medes, the Babylonians, the Medes. Choshech ze Yavan. Darkness is Greece. That they darken the eyes of the Jews with their decrees. Tahom, the depths. Ze Edom. That is what's commonly known as Rome. Malchusam shel Edom. The kingship of Edom. Is the current subjugation of the Jewish people. Whatever subjugation happens from after the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed is all attributed to Rome. Even though it's gone from place to place, but it all goes back to Rome, and therefore is all considered to be the Roman gods. Shalosh Machios Kodmos, the 3 preceding kingdoms, they are the ones who subjugated the Jews in the past. If we want to analyze our subjugation to Edom, which begins with the after the 3 other ones have, so to speak, completed themselves. Continues on from 68 CE until this very day. There doesn't have any qualities, which are this. Oh, I should say any qualities. Its quality is not the same as the subjugation of Bavel, nor is it subjugation with Persia, the Medes, but it does. There is a connection between Rome and Greece. Very powerful connection. We know that historically. We have a Masorah from the times of Chachamim. Yosi ben Yoez and Yosi ben Yochanan. These are 2 of the Tanoi mentioned at the beginning of Pirkei Avos. One of the Zugos. Asher Yubi made Pumul Shalibanim, which were they flourished at the time of the persecution of the Greeks. Harishonim, they were the first ones. she'amdu b'machloekes b'dinei Torah. They're the first ones who ever argued. The first argument in Torah occurred at the time of the Greeks. Until the Greeks came along, there were no arguments. Even if there was an issue which rose in the Sanhedrin, there would be a vote, and they would decide what halacha would be. There were no disputes which were lasted permanently. They didn't go beyond the sitting of the Sanhedrin for sure, and in fact, in history, there are no arguments recorded in the time of Bayis Rishon, in the time prior to Yosef ben Yochanan and Yosef ben Yoezer. And this was from Haplukta Rishon Bedin Smicha Yontif. The first argument is in Sechus Chagiga, whether you do smicha, the laying of the hands, on a korban on Yontif or not. Is it considered to be tzorech Yontif or not tzorech Yontif? And this became a cause celeb over the generations. Many, many different Tanoim argued on this point. It was never resolved. It continued to be an open issue. That's called in Chazal the first machlokes. So how is it connected? Through the Greeks darkening the eyes of the Jews, because they were with their decrees, they decreed to cause forgetfulness of Torah. The play on words. Chashecha and shicha are the same letters. Darkness and forgetfulness come together. So this darkness, forgetfulness, zu garmoli de machlokes rishona b'sanhedrin yoshim elishas hagazis. So they created the first machlokes, which was not resolved, even in the Sanhedrin, in their chamber in the Beis Hamikdash. But often, in a manner, ki ribui hadeos, that now we have multiple opinions, the chilukei shitos and arguments in approaches, b'milchamta Torah in the war of Torah, ad yameinu eila until this day, holechu v'nimshach b'kad yashar, it comes in a direct line. From the darkening of the eyes of Israel, by the forgetfulness of Torah, which is caused by the Greeks' decrees. It's an amazing statement, because the Greeks were vanquished, but this trait remained, this trait of machlokas remained after the Greeks were vanquished.
Well, I was going to ask, does every exile have some sort of trait that remains in us? Like meaning Bavel and Adam and...
No, so he wants, so Rav Hutner here wants to say that it was not true about Egypt, and it's not true about Bavel, and it's not true about Persia, even though Purim is obviously a big deal. But the first Golus which leaves a permanent imprint on the Jewish people is the Golus of Greece.
Okay.
That's the first one. And because, Chazal say that Italy is Italia shel Yavan. Italy is Italy of Greece, meaning that Greece and Italy are continuous. The Romans conquered the Greeks and took over all of the Greek culture and put their own stamp on it. So Rav Hutner is saying that there's a continuity between the Greek exile and the Roman exile, which still bears to this day.
That's why I continue.
Right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
When Chazal talk about these decrees where they darken the eyes of Yisrael and they cause them to forget the Torah, what kind of gezeros are we talking about? Do they outlaw the learning of Torah?
No. It goes back to what we learned last week, that the Hellenism caused the Torah to be forgotten. In other words,
like secular philosophy. Is that
clarity. Right, because once the lack of clarity which came with the Greek culture embedded itself permanently in the Jewish people. Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to see if that's completely a bad thing. That's going to be the next paragraph. Okay, it might be a partially good thing. In all these manners, a superficial gaze will grasp the multiple opinions, and the various different arguments, kishir, like a remnant of which a remnant, begulas yavan, not a remembrance, a shortcoming in the redemption from Greece. The words we had a 90% redemption and 10% we weren't redeemed, and that remained with us. Because after all, with all the redemption and the salvation of the victory of the Chashmonaim. Adayim Nisgalgelis Yitonu, we still have rolling around with us that also Tzara, that travail, Asher Nodai De Pumu Shevanim, which is born through the persecution of the Greeks. But from the words of Chachamim, we learn a deeper understanding. Begufel Shel Inyon, in this matter, like it's going to be explained in front of us. Now you should know that Rav Hutner is built to a large extent in Rav Tzadok. Even though Rav Hutner rarely reveals his sources, I don't think he ever quotes Rav Tzadok explicitly, but this is built on Rav Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin. Rav Tzadok says in many places that we don't understand why, but Golus is intrinsic to Hashem's master plan, and he brings down, I think he might bring down the Medrash here, but he doesn't bring down, he brings down elsewhere, that there's a Medrash in Shir Hashem that says, Yoser tzadikim hamida li b'churbana, yoser ribi binyona. Am Yisrael produced more tzadikim as a result of Golus than produced as a result of being in Eretz Yisrael. So Golus has a unique role, which is a positive role, to play in Jewish history. And that is where Rav Hutner is going with this now. Okay, let's see where he goes. Sometimes the negation of Torah, Zeu Kiyuma, is what sustains Torah. Shenemar, as it says, a famous Chazal, Asher Shibarta, Moshe is told by Hashem, you broke the Luchos, and Chazal Darshan, Asher, Yasher Kochach Vasher Shibarta. So a good thing that he broke the Luchos. Sometimes we need this type of activity which seems to be destructive and ends up being constructive. So, I'm sorry, skip. Ma'aseh Shviras HaLuchos, U'ma'aseh Shel Kiyum Torah, the Maisa of breaking the Luchos is a Maisa of sustaining the Torah, Aydei Bitula, by negating it. Which is paradoxical. Now, we know, the Chachamim say, Shembolim Mishtabro Luchos, were the Luchos not destroyed, Jews would never forget anything. Torah would never be forgotten. The second Luchos brought they didn't rectify that situation. Nimtza Efo comes out then, Kishviras HaLuchos Eba Mishum Hashkachas HaTorah. The breaking of the Luchos brought about the forgetfulness of Torah. The Meidim on Mikan Chidush Nifla. See an amazing Chiddush here. Ki Efshar Lo LeTorah Shetis Rabeh. Torah can be increased by forgetting Torah. Now, off on a tangent here, Rav Shimon Shkop says the reason why it was a good thing that Luchos broke is because under the quality of the first Luchos, people could learn Torah and not forget it, even if they weren't good people, even if they didn't know Lishma. And that was very dangerous, obviously, because then people could be corrupt and be great scholars, as is, that sometimes happens. But the second Luchos, because they included forgetfulness, because we didn't have the full capacity to master and never forget, so therefore it takes toil and effort and personal character development in order to get to the place where you can remember Torah. So this way there would be fewer people who would be corrupt on the inside and seem to be pious on the outside. That's what Rav Shimon Shkop says. But Rav Hutner says differently. He says, what's the advantage of forgetfulness? The advantage of forgetfulness is that it generates Torah. He says, so much so that you get a Yasher Koyach of Rashichas of Torah for causing forgetfulness of Torah. Upuk Chazay, come and see. Mash Omer Chacham say, Ki Sholosh Meos Halachos, 300 halachos, Nishtakhu Miyumei Epel Shel Moshe, when they were mourning for Moshe, they forgot 300 halachos. The Chzir Mastil Ben Knaz, the Pilpulon, Mastil Ben Knaz brought them back with his lumnus, with his extrapolation from other existing halachos which they remembered. Harei divrei Torah lolu shel pilpul hachzoras halachos. So this Torah of the extrapolation and the lumdus, which brought back those halachos, hey meim divrei Torah, these are divrei Torah shenisrabu rakai deishichas Torah. We only got them because we forgot the Torah. In other words, the Torah itself, when Moshe Rabbeinu gave these spiritual laws, he said, guys, this is the law. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, until 300. There's no explanation, no rationale. What happened when they were forgotten? Asnil Meknas had to go into the depths and the abstract basis of the halachos and extrapolate them again. So the forgetting of Torah generated a vast amount more of Torah, and not just a vast amount more of Torah, but a depth of Torah which didn't exist previously. In other words, there was a necessity to understand things which before were just cut and dry. So, v'lo onayis el shekuliyan machlokas ba'alocha. The entire concept of machlokas, einu elam mitzad shilus Torah, only comes because of forgetfulness of Torah. Ba'avo b'chein, nevertheless, halo al muchal kacha muchacham, Chachamim say, av pi shalol mitarim alol mitami. These say Torah, these say Tomei. Halo postim al machshin. These say posel, these say kosher. The Chachamim. Halo pochim al mechayim. These say potter, these say chayav. Elu ve'elu divrei chayim. Most of the words of the living God, or living words of God, depending how you translate that. The nimsa, the kol chilukei deos v'chilufei ashitos. All of the differences of opinion and all of the different approaches, hemagdolas Torah. They're expanding Torah, v'hadarasa, and causing it to become more glorious, and nolodos, and they came out specifically dafka b'kol shel shichas Torah. So it's an amazing concept. Because machlokas in Judaism is regarded as a good thing, therefore, to forget Torah generated more Torah. Because the machlokas is considered to be a positive contribution. Since both sides of a machlokas, the Shem Shemayim, where both sides have a legitimate basis of some sort, are considered to be Torah. So Torah is increased by forgetting it. The Chiddush of Yosef Gadol, Yotzi Lar Mikan. There's an even bigger Chiddush here. Ki merubehi midas havlotas kochas shel Torah sheba'al peh. Greater is the extent of the emphasis of the power of Torah Sheba'al Peh, hamizgala b'machlokas hadeos, which is revealed in machlokas, me'asher b'mokum haskomas hadeos, than in agreement. Torah Sheba'al Peh is more revealed in its glory when things are argued as opposed to when things are agreed. It's a very Jewish concept, right? So argument is better than agreement. In this concept of those are living words of God, there's a basic principle. That the opinion which is rejected from halacha, das teirahu, it's still a Torah opinion. Imrak Demraf was only said, as long as it was said, based on the principles of discourse, shel Torah Sheba'al Peh. And that's because Torah was given on our das, meaning that it's based on us, not based on what happens in Shemayim. It's not a fixed thing, it's something which we determine. And if later history, the Sanhedrin would come around and they'd re-vote on the issue, they'd open up again, and they'd vote like the opinion which is pushed aside, the halacha will change. The rejected opinion was recorded in the Mishnah specifically to allow a later generation, which has the proper, suitable Sanhedrin, to take that into account and to reverse the halacha. I am Oriso Peraglam. I'm not sure if this is Oriso refers to Oriso Sol Salanter. But Sol Salanter says an amazing thing somewhere. He says, maybe this is one he's referring to. He says, to a certain extent, the guy who comes up with the wrong opinion, so to speak, the opinion which is either decreed false or wrong or mistaken in some way, he's on a higher madriga than the guy who came up with the legitimate true opinion. How so? Says the guy who came with a legitimate true opinion, that's what's told Moshe at Har Sinai. Because it says, and Moshe Rabbeinu is told at Har Sinai all the chidushim of halachos, which are going to be said until the end of all time. But the guy who said the sheker, that was not given to Moshe at Har Sinai. Mm-hmm. You, with your creativity, brought the sheker into the world. So in essence, this sheker, as long as it's something which is not completely absurd or heretical, something like that, is a higher madrega than having said the emes. It's a fascinating idea. So anyway, so it comes out of the machlokas of Chachmei Torah. It reveals much more than their agreement. There's double the revelation, since both sides are worthy of study. The war of Torah, it's not one of the ways in which you learn Torah. The war of Torah is a positive creation of new Torah values, which you can't find in Torah where there is no disagreement. Torah with disagreement is the core of what Hashem wants from the time of Greece and on. It's important to know Hashem changed the way the world functions until the world functioned until the Yavan in one way. After Yavan, it functions another way. It happens to be that function remains for all time. Okay? This is a quote from the Pachad Chanukah, where it says that this is one of the poems which Balak and his son, Bilam and his father Tzipor came up with in celebrating some victory of Moab over Midian or Moab, I forget. But anyway, Chazal through Medrash explained it this way: I feel avubno, even a father and a son, Rav the Talmido, a Rebbe and a student. Now it seems something that they became enemies in the base Medrash. They detest each other. They shout at each other. They throw chairs at each other. They argue with each other. They don't move from there until they become great friends. So they start loving each other. At first glance, these things come to tell us, the great novelty, in the great power of the connection of love, which Torah produces. Torah produces love. That's what it is. This power of connection of love is so great. To the point there's a promise of hareus aneman, of true friendship. Even for people who beforehand were enemies. Based on this, the novelty here is despite the fact that they hated each other when they disagreed with each other, at the end, the love comes and overwhelms them. And they don't move from there until they become lovers, friends, whatever. But now for us, since Sheni's Baro Lanu, it became clear to us, Hanekuda, this point, that the war of Torah, is a new form of creation. No sefes, above and beyond, in other words, Machlokes is a higher level. This clarity will teach us it's not that the love at the end comes despite and in contrast the preceding of this dispute. Whereas this is the way you grow and cultivate this love. It's born and grows. Dafka, specifically al karka, on the grounds. In the preceding dispute. They should call ava magia limaron pisgasa, and explains it further. This is a very deep explanation. It says, any love comes to its greatest intensity. We saw at the time that the two sides have a partnership of creativity. It's actually the Rambam, since it brings this down from Aristotle, in his commentary on Pirkei Avos and the Rambam brings down several madregos of friendship, and the highest madrego of friendship, the most profound friendship, is two people who are united in creativity. The Rambam held love between male and female is lower, because obviously at his time it was not considered to be that kind of partnership which it is today. So love between male and female, I think I coined them as first or second level love, but third level love is this profound creativity of two people together. These two sides which are goring each other in halacha. They are partners litzur shel erech Torah chadash, of a new Torah value. Asher shmo. Somebody's trying to call me on the video chat. I don't know how to do that anyway. Okay. So in any event, they create this new concept of Milchamta Shel Torah. One more paragraph. Now we go back to the beginning. Mitziu shemachlekas b'divrei Torah, halechas nimsheches ad yomein eile. The reality of this machlokas divrei Torah, which continues to our day. Noldam nam v'choshech Yavin was born, so to speak, in the darkness of Greece. But don't think that this means that there is there's remaining 10% which wasn't redeemed. The fact that there's still forgetfulness. No, Adarab, on the contrary. Chanukah, the redemption of Chanukah, by the basin of the Maccabim, was a victory over the darkness of Yavan, by bringing the light out of the darkness itself. There's another famous from Tzadok. Tzadok says, from the Zohar. The whole point of creation is that there's no light like the light which comes out of darkness. Now it's not just that the light at the end of the tunnel, after you've been in darkness for a long time, is very powerful and very sweet. That's one interpretation, lower level interpretation. But from darkness, from the fabric of darkness, you weave light. That's what creation is all about. That the whole creation looks like darkness and then light, darkness and then light. And then there's the ultimate darkness and then light of the totality of creation. Yavan was darkness. We were given that darkness to fashion light out of it. They're given forgetfulness in order to create new Torah. It's a fascinating concept. Torah is expanded and glorified. By Torah being forgotten. Bitula zuik yuma. I know, Bitula zuik yuma. The negation of Torah is what sustains the Torah. But Shemapulas and Shabavel Shamadai. Now, the downfall of Bavel and Madai, that was a healing, cure to the Am Yisrael's downfall to these nations. But the downfall which we had in Yavan, the downfall which we had to them, it also had a bandage within it, which came from the Makkah itself. You know, they didn't really have that concept to the same extent back then. We have the name vaccines. A vaccine is when you take the machla itself, the smooth itself, and you make a refu out of it. The way Chazal say, "Mimaka atzma misakin ratiyah." So it could be that vaccines are a harbinger of the Geula to a certain extent because they represent this idea that you take the darkness itself and make the darkness into light. Okay? It's just a wild idea. So when the wicked Greeks stood against the Jews, the cause of forgetfulness of Torah, out of the forgetfulness itself, they opened their mouths, Torah Chadashim, new wellsprings of Torah. They Torah by the depth of Torah, the extrapolation, the understanding, the lumdus, which every day is now refreshed. The Shem Achzoras Birur Shel Torah, in order to return the Torah, as it's being forgotten, to return it again. You know, I always say that whenever Pesach comes out on Shabbos, you always have new books which come out every time it happens. Like Am Yisrael's this collective amnesia. Everybody forgot what happened last time Erev Pesach came out on Shabbos, so I have to write a new book on what happens Erev Pesach comes out on Shabbos. So according to Rav, that's part and parcel of the deliberate plan for creation. That there should be forgetfulness for new Torah to be generated. And the new Torah will include and enhance and go beyond the old Torah. And that way, it constantly expands. Chanukah was the last to be set up of the Yom Tov for all generations. Why? Because it prepared us for the long goals. That even in the darkness of the forgetfulness, you find sparks of light, shoribui Torah, of more Torah. So it's possible with this quality, let's add to march down the long path of forgetfulness. Of the Golos of Edom, until the end of days. And then finally, this song will be complete. And Rabbi said, this is a very important point to make. That the Ramchal says that the world, the three ways of understanding why the world is created. I'm not going to get into the first two for now. The 30 says in highest of his understanding that the world is created by God in order to bring about the novelty of unity and multiplicity. In other words, it's no chachma to have unity and unity. Obviously, if everybody's the same, everybody's unified. The special chachma is to have unity in multiplicity. So that's the idea of Elu Ve'elu Div Elokim Chaim, that everybody is supposed to have their contribution, which is different, and they're all unified in the end. And that's the famous Gemara at the end of Tainus, where it says that Asa Kadosh Baruch Hu Lasos Machal at Tzadikim, Hashem is going to make a circle for all the Tzadikim, and they're going to stand around the Kadosh Baruch Hu and says, Zek Keli Man Ve'u, this is my God and I adore him. And the Chavetz Chaim says that the circle, every point is equidistant from the middle, in order to teach us that every person has an equal share in that Avodas Hashem, and no matter what their derech was, even if they're 180 degrees away from the other person. So that actually is something since we haven't learned that lesson, we're still in Golos. That's the lesson which we haven't yet learned, which is still the problem why we're still in Golos, because as long as we don't learn that, and I don't know how we're going to learn it, but as long as we don't learn that, that's called sinas chinam. It's called that you're not getting along with other people for no good reason, because actually you're both contributing in your own special way, and you're not attempting to realize that yourself. So, in essence, the way to get out of this sinas chinam is to recognize that milchamta shel Torah, arguments in Torah, are not like arguments in the physical world, arguments which are constructive arguments, and they build Torah, and that is the way it would lead to mutual respect. Unfortunately, it's not the way things work. But who knows? Hopefully someday we'll come to that. That's it.
Very nice. Thank you so much.
That was really, really interesting.
All right. So, Mir Tashem, we'll figure out about next week.
Okay.
All right. I've run. Yeah.
I was just trying to integrate everything that I've been learning this year about Chanukah with what you're talking about. I got to think about it.
Okay. So that's great. Chanukah, next week is Sunday night, still Chanukah, but all the other Pachad Yitzoks are extremely long. It's interesting because Chanukah, Pachad Yitzoks and Purim are pretty short. So you start Purim right afterwards, and each week I have a nice short piece. But the Chanukah, I chose the two shortest for last week and this week. So next week I have to find something else which is a bit shorter in order to do in a decent interval of time. Okay, have a great Chanukah, guys.
Be well.
Take care. Bye-bye.